name's Helen, I'm the Diddy Stitcher, my pronouns are she, her. It is Monday the 3rd of March. I think I'm back within 2 weeks. I haven't really checked, but it feels good. I've got a lot to talk about, so I thought I'd do this now before I get into another week of stitching. I wanted to take a little bit of time at the beginning of this episode to talk about something that's really important to me. You may or may not have seen some posts going around Instagram that look like this. They were created by our stitch dad, D's 20 Stitches, for use at market, Nashville Needlework Market that's coming up. He talks about that in his latest Flosstube that I'll link below. Please go watch that for his explanation and thoughts on what went down after the fact that those were shared. So they were posts for businesses. Megan from the Long Distance Stitchers then took that and edited them to be for stitchers, you know, those of us that aren't businesses but want to show our support. So I've posted that on my Instagram. Megan talks about it, both the Megans talk about it in their latest Flosstube too, so I will link that below. Please go watch that after you've watched D's. I'm really terrible with words, so I'll just let those speak for themselves, but suffice to say that I'd like to be seen as a safe space. I try my best. I'm a flawed human being, but I do. I do like to offer you my pronouns at the beginning to show what you can call me, and you have the ability to share yours as well if you so wish, and just stuff like that is important. So yeah, I'd like to be seen as a safe space. That's up to you whether you feel that, but I invite anyone and everybody here to share in this wonderful cross-stitch community that we have, to enjoy what we love together, because everyone deserves a seat at the table. And that's all I'll say about that, otherwise I'll get myself in a muddle. But do go watch those videos, it's really important, and glad to call those people my friends. But yeah, we'll get on with the Flosstube. Okie dokie, so I've done a lot of stitching. I've got like 10 projects to show you. Yeah, we were off this past week with Anna on half term from school, so I've had a lot of stitchy time. Alex took her down to Lincoln to see his side of the family, so I had a good few days by myself just stitching. And then I've just, you've been rested, you get a chance to pick up your stitching. Been on lots of Zooms, it's been wonderful. But yeah, I've got a lot to show you. First off, I have an FFO. Don't know when I'll have another one, so let's celebrate. This is Gingerbread House. It's done. This was my swimming stitching. So here's what it looked last time you saw it, all flat and not finished. So a little bit about this. This is The Nutmeg Company. They do lots of 3D stuff like this. It was a kit that I got at the Harrogate Knitting and Stitching show, God knows when. And yeah, I started it in July 2023. So it's taken me a year and 8 months. But yeah, I'd been slowly picking away at it. It was my little travel piece. And then I was so close on the roof. I took Anna and her cousin to soft play. They had a day of play together and a sleepover. So I took them to soft play to try and wear them out. So I got to sit for an hour and a half by myself. I didn't bring my headphones, which was a bit annoying, but managed to get a lot of stitching. And I got to the point, because the roof was the last thing to stitch. Oh, and this tiny little porch, but that took me all of 10 minutes. So once I was finished the roof, I was practically, ready to build. So I want it done. I got to the point where I don't really know how to describe it. See, my issue with words. But like, when you're coming like up a roller coaster and then you turn the corner, dive down the corner, and then it's just like whoosh, and you're gone. Like, that's where I was at the soft play. I was like on top of the hill, and I was like, we gotta go. We gotta finish this. We gotta build it. It's happening. Let's go. So we came home, and the girls just played in Anna's room for hours. It was bliss. Nobody was on tablets or, asking me for things every 5 minutes. Anna's been particularly hungry. I don't know, she's like actually hungry. She's like working up to a growth spurt, but it's like the boredom thing, or that, I haven't asked mum for a snack in 10 minutes, let's ask her for a snack. So I sat on the couch and I finished the stitching. So the next day I did the back stitching and the beading. So the little windows are back stitched, and then obviously the roof is beaded. The little Christmas tree on the back here is beaded. So stayed up doing that. Stitched the little porch as well because that needed doing. And I got all of the main house done and the porch with the beads, and then I got half of the roof done of beads, and I ran out of beads. The whole other side didn't have enough beads. And I counted all the beads that were in the Christmas tree, because they're the same, called for. Still wouldn't be enough even if I replaced those beads. The Nutmeg Company aren't very active on their Instagram, so I didn't know if they were kind of still around. But I found their email address on their website and sent an email at like 11 o'clock at night and was just like, hey, I've run out of beads. I bought this kit, I don't know when. Can you let me know what beads you called for? Because in the pattern, they give you the threads, but they do say it's DMC number, whatever. So if you ran out of DMC, you'd be fine. But it just says gold beads. It doesn't say what they are. I've got lots of gold beads in my stash from my Mill Hills. They kind of look like Mill Hills. I could have seen if any matched. But I got a reply the next day saying, terribly sorry. Let me know where to send them and I will send you some. We can't have a wonky house. So that was very nice. And then the next day they came through the letterbox. So I was able to finish it very quickly. I thought I was going to grind to a halt, which was a little bit upsetting, seeing I was on the downwards of the roller coaster. But yeah, so fantastic customer service from the Nutmeg Company, should you ever need it. So yeah, finished the beading and then attempted to build it. It was very difficult, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying that it's a difficult thing. They give very detailed instructions. I just can't complete them. I can't ladder stitch. I can't lace. I don't lace things in a frame. I just stick them down with some masking tape. Yeah. So it was I did try. I tried my best. But it got to the point where life's too short. We're just going to get the glue out. So we glued it. So the way it works is you have that big flat piece that I stitched, and there's 4 pieces of plastic canvas cut to size, and you lay the plastic canvas on and you're supposed to lace all the way around it so it keeps it nice together. It just wasn't happening. Everything was falling apart. So we just glued it down. We glued it down around the plastic canvas. The roof was the same. I did lace the roof because it's just a rectangle. And then you have 2 plastic canvas pieces so it bends in the middle. Yeah. I don't know how you're supposed to sew that onto there. I don't know how. And I sat on Zoom with the Megans and was just like, it's not happening. So there is a dot of glue in here, a dot of glue in here, and at these 4 points. And that's absolutely fine. And then the bottom is covered in felt. And I did ladder stitch that on because I could just close it up. I did do an extra step. I did put a little bag of walnut shells in there, so it's less liable to, just be pushed off a surface. It's got a little bit of weight to it. But yeah, so don't look too closely at the eaves because they're not completely stuck down. There's going to be a breeze in that loft. But it's going to be sat like over there on the mantelpiece downstairs. Nobody's going to be looking at it that closely. And if you do and want to judge, just I'd love to see you try. And if you do succeed, then I'm going to send you my finishes to do because I'd like to do more of these. It was fun to stitch, but I'm not going to if I have to build it. But yeah, I am happy with it. I did stitch the little pearl trim. That was okay. It doesn't look very neat, but again, yeah, it's done. It's just one of those things. It's just done. It's finished. So it's off my whip list. I have another swimming project now, but I'll show you that when I stitch on it because I don't think I've stitched on it yet. Swimming's tonight, so you'll see it in the next one. But yeah, gingerbread house. And then, not because I had a finish, but just because it's the next on my Quirky Quaker EPP quilt going on there. And I've decided to do these when I'm watching Michelle Bendy film her Flosstubes as a Patreon patron of hers. I started Quirky Quaker Snail. So this is Quirky Quaker Snail by Darling and Whimsy, a beautiful Diana. This is 36 count Magical Grey by Zweigart. And I'm really pleased actually. When I started these two, I thought I'll do all neutrals. Because I've got lots of colour for the patchworky bits. But actually it's just not gonna work. So we'll just choose whatever colour it is. Maybe I won't do like a hot pink, but never say never. But yes, I was happy that I chose a dark fabric for this because look at that green. It's practically neon. This is Gloriana Tudor Silk. This is colour leaf green. And the beige is fawn. Lovingly gifted by my friend Nati, Queen of Tiny Stitching. So yeah, it's 1/1. Did I say that? I didn't say that, but it's tiny. So yeah. Like I say, I work on this when I'm watching Michelle. I just need a reason, you know. What's the reason? Because my brain needs that. And it'll just get done when it gets done. So my whips. Yes, like I said, I've done a lot of stitching. So Megan, who I mentioned at the beginning, a saint, but also my friend, and we are selling Angel of Love by Lavender and Lace. Where is it? Oh, let's see. This is what it's in. This is just the floss. This is the actual project. It's the Beaded Beast. I keep it on this Q-snap because this is how wide it needs to be. It's like, is this 14 inch? I think this is 14 inches. And this is 11? I'm not quite sure. It's whatever it is. I've had so many different Q-snaps and different like extensions that there's just tons of little bits in a box up here that I just Frankenstein Q-snaps out of. So I don't know if they're actual sizes anymore. It's just whatever fits. But yeah, this is Lavender and Lace, Angel of Love. Here's what it looked like before. Here's what it looks like now. This is a 28. It is an Eva weave that I dyed myself. Yeah, that's that. What else do I tell you about this? Okay, so I worked on the end of this row of 10 to finish all the beads in there, and then I worked on this bit just while we were still on the Zoom. But yeah, that's 60 rows done out of 246. So we've got a ways to go, but we're eating through the skirt slowly but surely. I'd like to weigh this when it's finished because of the amount of beads on it. That would be interesting. So yeah, my breakdown of this is to do 10 rows a month. It's not happening. Me and Megan try and meet every month to do some dedicated stitching on this, but even then, these rows of beads, it's just too much. So I have to do the DMC, then the Krynic, then the beads. It's a whole system. And I have found out that I need to be in the mood to do beading, especially this beading when it's so tight that I have to fudge it. You know, the charted beads, just they don't physically fit, so you have to decide which ones you would omit. So it takes some brain power as well as, you know, the actual physical stitching of, you know, finding out where you are, picking up a bead, putting it down, and then coming up and then going back through the bead so it lays up and down. I don't leave them all diagonal, so it's a lot of extra work. And yeah, you do have to be in the mood, or I have to be in the mood. But yeah, it's just coming along. It's doing its thing. I love it. I like to pet it. It's a very nice feeling. And yeah, I'm living the dimension in the cape now. I'm very excited. Megan's working top down. When she comes to visit in October, she's going to bring hers. We can have them next to each other. It'll be very cute. So yeah, this just lives in a pillowcase because it's too big for any of the project bags that I have. And this is just the box of threads and Krynic and beads. I have 3 colours of highlighter because it's a paper pattern. So I go through and highlight, before I've even stitched, I'd like look at the next 10 rows of where I'm going and highlight the Krynic in pink and the beads in yellow. And then whatever's not highlighted, I know is DMC, and I go through all of that and stitch the DMC, highlight that off in the orange, and then when I'm looking at it, I know anything in pink is Krynic, stitch that next. You can highlight over the pink with the orange, and it's fine. And then whatever's left is beads, and then I do the beads, and then I highlight those off too. That's my little system. Okie dokie. Next was, that's not what that is. Did I not take it out? Oh. I left it on the shelf. This is what I worked on. So as I've said, since the start of the year, I have a little magnet board here of all of my whips. It has a little breakdown of what I can do each month to get it finished in a certain amount of time. It's not a goal, it's not a prompt, because I have oppositional defiance. So I just pick the next thing once I finish working on the thing before. So this is what I worked on. This is Chipping Sparrow Biscore Nest by Cricket Collection. So I had the back of the biscore, or the bottom of the biscore new, finished. And then to get this done in 6 months, I think, I have to do 500 stitches. 500 stitches is just a good amount of stitches for me. So I started on the front or the top of the biscore new. Some more of this green, but then we get more into brown where it's the actual nest, and then the eggs are 1/1. And it's so exciting. So even though I've done a whole side, this is actually only 50% done because of the 1/1 stitching. So this is on, is this 28 count? Yes, 28 count. It's just white because it's full coverage. But this is one of those projects that you stitch it on a certain size fabric, so a 28 count, or you could do a 14 count Ada, I suppose. And it will be the actual size of the nest, because there's a whole collection of these. So I've got a hummingbird version that's like tiny. And you stitch it on the 28 count fabric, so it's all ratioed the same, or words. So yeah, that is Chipping Sparrow Biscore Nest. So if I do 500 stitches a month, I'll be done in 6 months, I guess. And yeah, I'm 50% done with that. I think this is the second largest of the ones I have. That's 46 by 46. The cardinal is 60 by 60. The yellow warbler is 42 by 42. And then the hummingbird is 32 by 32. It's going to be tiny. I'm so excited. I love these. I love a little collection. I've never stitched a biscore new before. So that'll be a nice first one, I think. Well, depending on how I build it, because it's not as complicated as a 3D house. And I'm told that Cheryl, the Tiny Modernist, has a good tutorial on her Flosstube, so I will be looking at that when the time comes. Christmas tree mandala. This is another chatelaine. Another chatelaine. I was thinking about chatelaines before. This is a chatelaine. Chatelaine Designs. This was a freebie at some point, and now it's just one of their minis. It's quite cheap. It just uses DMC, 2 Petite Treasure braids, and some Mill Hill beads. So not even Swarovskis or Delicas or anything like that. So it's quite accessible. So this is the way I've actually stitched it. This is the bottom, but I'll show you this way just so the Christmas tree is nice and upright. So this is Christmas Tree Mandala by Chatelaine. This is on a 32 count Smoky Pearl by Zweigart. Yeah, like I said, DMC with some Petite Treasure braid. I did change the called for beads. So it was 2 different golds. You can't really see the sparkles. So there's like a glass gold and then a solid gold on the tree. And then I think it was called for gold in the hedge, but I put in some red ones from the Stitchy box that I got the advent calendar. And then it was called for green Mill Hills in that kind of swirly border, but I had some green ones again from that Stitchy box. I thought I might as well use them up. I did count to make sure I had enough. And then I put this star bead on. This is a mother of pearl star. I did get it initially for my Mirabilia Mother's Arms piece. When I was going to stitch the whole thing, it called for like some moon charms, and I couldn't find the ones that were called for, so I just got these star ones because I like stars. But then I didn't end up stitching the whole thing, so I had these in my stash, and I thought, you put a star on the top of the tree. It just called for one of these single gold beads, but I thought it would look a bit extra to have a star on. So that's a whole quarter done, so I've just got to repeat that 3 more times now. It's a PDF pattern, but it doesn't go into Pattern Keeper, so I'm just printing it out and crossing it off as I go. So I don't actually know what this whole middle bit's complete, so it's just the tree, the hedge, and this border that needs repeating. So I don't know what percentage that makes this complete, but it wasn't too bad. Just DMC. I had a little bit of the Christmas tree done already. I think I put a picture in of what it looked like before. It did take a couple of days of stitching, but just another 3 more times I've got to do that. Next is my Christmas village, if you want to call that. This is all of the, not all of them, but all of these are from the Mill Hill Buttons and Beads Christmas Village series. And I'm doing 12 on a massive piece of fabric. This is a whole yard of fabric. To make like a wall hanging that I can do at Christmas. So I did fold this so I could show you. So I worked on the bookseller. So all of the cross stitching is done, and I'm coming back and doing all of the back stitching and beads after I've stitched all of them, because I beaded the first 2 and then realised that I couldn't get a Q-snap around beads. So it will be an issue when I come down to the bottom anyway, but we'll just cross that bridge when we come to it. So yeah, I think I showed you this last time. This is what it looked like. And yeah, I didn't want to put it down until I finished the stitching. This project, it gets a little bit overwhelming because it is so big. And I know that when I'm finished, I'm not really going to be finished because I have to go back and do all the beading. And I like beading, and it won't take as long as each of the stitching sessions took me. But then how am I going to, wrangle fabric and without being able to put clamps on for the key snap? Am I going to have to just end up doing it in hand? It's all a bit daunting. So I don't take it out a lot. So when I take it out, I don't want to put it away until I've finished that house, building, whatever. I like this one especially because there's 2 little cats. So yeah, that's the one that I worked on this time. This is 28 count dirty linen. It's not dirty, it's called dirty. And this is everything so far. So it's kind of a finish for now with the bookseller. So this is a whole yard. It's obviously got a lot of margin. But so I do about 7 stitches between each of them, left and right and up and down. So yeah, you can see these 2 are fully beaded and backstitched. They just need their button on. I did try to put this on a scroll frame, but me and scroll frames don't get on. I can't get the tension that I need. I have a Lowry stand, so that's kind of limiting with scroll frames. Scroll frames just aren't for me. So whether I get a Q-snap, whether I get like a nudge hoop just to go in the square so I can get right in there, I don't know. We're gonna see. But when I come back after I stitch the last 2, so that'll be the police station and can't remember the other one. Another one. I'll come back up here and I will bead. I've done some back stitching, bead like this one, but obviously because this is beaded, I won't be able to put a clamp this side. So whether I just have 3-sided clamps, I don't know. Wasn't really thinking about that when I started. If you've got any tips, let me know. But yeah, it's a bit of fun. It's just one of those big projects. Kind of, why'd you do that? I don't really know. So yeah, my goal was to do 1 house or building per month. To be finished the stitching in 3 months, and then I guess we need another 10 months of beading. I don't know, but right now I finished the beading, the stitching on the bookseller. That's what I did. And that's about all I'm going to say. Next one that was on just the list to get through is Illuminations on the Wall, brackets, sycamore cap. So this is what I did. This is where I was before. This is by True Veil Stitch Kits. This is just a PDF pattern. She does sell kits of most of her designs of landmarks around the northeast, and I think she's spreading around as well. So this is done on a 28 count even weave. Is 28? No, it's 36. She provides 18 count Aida with her kits, because if you do it on that, after it's done, all of her designs fit in a 5x7 frame, which I think is genius. Love it. Sorry, work call. So yeah, this is what it looked like before. I did 499 stitches. My breakdown is to do 500 stitches a month and be done in, I don't know when, I didn't write that down. I'm at 15%. So maybe a year? I don't know. I'm stitching this because a while ago, however long ago, this lovely tree, an actual tree, was illegally felled in the middle of the night. There has been several arrests and the case is ongoing. I hope that they find out who did it and why, and that they're punished appropriately. But yeah, I started that the day that happened. So yeah, just a little 500 stitches just to keep it going. Next, my little plans was Moonface Bell Ball by Tiny Modernist. This is the hashtag Aurora Moonface Cell. So I do 400 stitches every full and new moon, and I'll be done by April, May time. There's been a few times that I've gone over, so I think I'm ahead, which is good because when I stitched this on the Zoom, I got all messed up. I don't know, my counting was real off. I had to unpick and start again and on this this moon here. But I got there eventually. So this is all of the white stitches in this moon. It's only 344 stitches, so I didn't get to my 400. But actually I did the calculations again, and like I say, I'm ahead, so I can afford to be off a few. But yeah, I love this one so much. I really do. This makes me so happy. So yeah, this is 79% done. And just look at that fabric. This is Kaylee from the sewing shop.ca. Her fabric is amazing. Point blank. Yeah, I like that one. One that I like having intention on, not having to do it, which is like, oh, it's the new moon, we'll stitch on my moon phase. And then speaking of that, last time I was asking you, I need a reason to do Sarah Watson, which is the sampler that I'm stitching for my auntie. And several suggestions were stitch it on the day of her birthday every month. And I didn't know that off the top of my head, but I asked my mum and she said it was the 22nd of January, so I just missed it. So I stitched this on the 22nd of February. If I get 500 stitches in, I might have it done for her next birthday, which would be good. So this is, yes, Sarah Watson by Whilst Aris Naps. This is what it looks like. I'm not doing the single stitch border. I'm actually using a different border from another Whilst Iris Naps patterns, but I'm doing the inside of Sarah Watson first and then coming back to the border just to make sure everything lines up. So this is what it looked like before, and this is with exactly 500 stitches. I don't know how that happened so nicely, but I just love this. This is a 40 count buckwheat by Forbidden Fibre Co. Did I do that too low? I don't know. I think I like found the edge, gave myself some more room for the thicker border, but didn't give it on the bottom. It'll be fine. It'll fit, but it's just not square. Anywho, yeah, I'm enjoying this. I don't normally do samplers. It's not really my taste, but my auntie wanted one for her little cottage that she has in Scotland. She wants me to put my name on it. So she had chosen a different sampler a while ago from the Historical Sampler Company, which aren't reproduction samplers, or at least I don't think they all are. I don't think the one that she chose was a reproduction. It's in the theme. There's a lot of similar like motifs that get repeated on samplers, so you can make a sampler. It doesn't have to be a reproduction. But on the Historical Sampler Companies particularly, because I did one way back when, I did like a birth sampler, but I put my own name on it. It was a bit weird. I think that's why I don't like samplers. Anywho, the Historical Sampler Company gives you the space and the alphabet to put your name on it, like stitched by Helen Tribe in the year blah blah blah. Sarah Watson is a reproduction sampler. It was stitched by Sarah Watson. My auntie wanted me to put my name on it, but I don't put my name on things. I don't sign my stitching. I don't think I want to put Helen Tribe in place of Sarah Watson, because it's got 18 whatever the year was that Sarah stitched it. I don't want to put Helen Tribe 2025. So I think I'll stitch it as is, and then maybe find somewhere to put my name on it. I don't know. I might speak to my auntie, and because she's not a stitcher, I don't think she realises that type. But if you sign your name on your stitching, let me know how you do that. If you think it's okay to change the name on a reproduction sampler, let me know. I'm not feeling comfortable about it. If it's like an absolute no-no, please tell me as well, because that'll just give me more reason not to. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. Let me know how you feel about it. Oh yeah, and I've changed all the colours on that. My auntie picked through my stash for colours that she liked, and I've just kind of done a fairly like for like comparison. It is a bit different, but it's hard as well when you're, again, not a stitcher. She was looking at samplers online, and then I pulled the called for thread for it and then showed her it, and then she goes, oh, I don't like that. Because, you know, computer monitors and photography and stuff like that. But so I was like, you pick the thread that you want to see in it, and you know you'll like it. Anywho. So my last whip, I'm running out of breath. My lovely friend Trina and I are selling Serbian Proverb by La Di Da. And we jump on a Zoom every month, which again is just lovely to have some dedicated stitching time to a whip with a friend. And this is where I got, so this is what it should look like. We're doing chaos colours. Mine's kind of like curated chaos. Trina's is full on chaos and it's beautiful. She stitched the crown in our last Zoom and it's just perfect. In like this variegated blue, it's like blue, yellow, red, something like that. It just came out perfect chaos. This is what it looked like the last time you saw it. So this time I worked on leaves all up here. And then I put in the first of these buds and I used Cottage Garden Threads Citronella. And I started at the stem and stitched up and down and up and down and up and down all the way across to the end. So it gave like a stripy look. Oh, you can really see my pimple patch in that light. That's what that is in case you're looking at my head. But so I like the colour. I just don't like the stripies. So I think I'll pick that out and I'll try again and go like around the outside. So this first bit of the thread is like this sagey green. So it'll give it the outline and then it will transition into the cream and then the grey. So you get a definite outline of the bud in the green. And then it still gives the interest of the middle with the variegation. I was a bit tired doing this, so I only did one and then I was like, I've got to go to bed. Because then I was up in the night being sick. So sorry I had to rush Trina. But we had a good couple of hours doing that. This is my whole thread pack for that. Oh, it was on 40 count Valor by Picture This Plus. So I love like teals and sage greens and yeah. It's beautiful. If you want to know specific colours or you want my conversion, please let me know. Oh, that all goes in there too. So that was on my whips. I feel like I've done so much, which is really nice because the momentum is quick. I don't get like bogged down in stuff and I don't kind of skip over stuff in favour of other things. So everything's getting touched, which is nice. So things to mention, just go watch Dee and the Megan's video. Like I say, it's really important. I don't have the words or the articulation to speak on it, which is something that I need to work on because it needs to come from me, but also I'm here for you. Haul. I think I said in my last video, I'm trying to be more mindful with spending. And this is mindful because it's stuff that would be otherwise prohibitive to me to buy, sort of financially, but also just physically it's hard to get stuff like this in the UK. So Lindsay of Wolfie Stitches was having a D-stash and she had a lot of Picture This Plus and a Fox and Rabbit, and they're just like little cuts, little 16th cuts that I can use for my Quirky Quaker quilt. And it was a reasonable price, and not that I feel obligated, but I do like helping out people when they're destashing. I don't know. The first piece is a little bit of a bigger piece. It is an 1/8 of a yard. This is Picture This Plus Nocturne. Beautiful. So I don't, you know, I don't have a lot of hand-dyed. I do have a collection now. But this is just nice to add to the collection. So this is a little piece of Cyprian. Nice neutral. This is J. These are all 40 count. So I do like 40 count. I'm not sure why she was getting rid of 40 count. Maybe she doesn't like the 40 count. Maybe she just needs space. This is Doubloon. Nice. Very nice. And this is... It's a 1, 2, 3 sticker. So it goes... Heritage, that's what it is. Nice green. Very nice green. Beautiful. And then a tiny little offcut. I don't know if she's already used some of this for another thing. This is 36 count Fox and Rabbit Tornado, which I've seen a lot of people use for things, and I always think, oh, that's beautiful. I don't know why I would stitch on a big piece. So just having a little piece is just lovely. Because again, Fox and Rabbit are lovely, but it's hard to get here. It is available. I'm not saying you can't get it, but it is harder to get. So yeah, that was all my haul. I have bought a new camera, but it's not here yet. So I'll probably talk about it next time. But I love doing time lapses of my stitching, and I used to have a little action cam back in the day that I was doing that with, but I'm not sure what happened to it. Anyway, I was talking to Alex about getting another one, or like maybe having a camera, because I just film on the webcam of my computer, having an external camera to maybe do like streams and stuff like that. And what was good, because I don't really do tech research very well. I don't know really what I'm looking for. So Alex helped me find something secondhand, just so I can play with again, and make some little videos. Because I like making content. I seem as of a content creator. I'm definitely not an influencer. But I do like making little videos. So if I had like a thing, so it wasn't too expensive, and it was secondhand, so I think it's not much to lose. So stay tuned for that. Plans. So like I said, I film now because I kind of finished all of my breakdowns for those whips, so I was ready to start a new round, but I thought I'd film a Flosstube before I start again. So I'm gonna start or get out my big chatelaine, my amazing lavender garden. So my breakdown is to do a whole page, which won't really make sense to anybody because I've just printed off the PDF blown up. So a page it doesn't really have any relevance until I show you what that is, but it's a lot. And as much as I don't want to put it away before, see, I haven't even got it out and I'm already thinking about putting it away. The more I think about having to do a full page, it's like a bit scary. Because it's a lot. It's a lot of stitching full stop, but then you've got specialty stitches and a lot of specialty threads, and it's on a 17 by 17 Q snap, so just trying to corral that thing is effort. But my Christmas village that I just showed you, I persevered with that until that was done, and I feel good about it. So we'll see Anna is staying at my mum's on Friday, so maybe Friday night, Saturday morning, I get some good stitching with that. So that's my big one that I take downstairs. And then I have a separate list that I pick from of ones that I can stitch at my desk. And that will be Noel Blank by Renata Prolin. And that's to do... I think I finished the top garland. So I have to finish the N. I think that's what I have to do. I think that's the breakdown. Which is fine. That's challenge is it's 1/1 on 28 count, so it's not too bad, but it's effort. It's a lot of effort. Why do I give myself so much effort with my hobby? Why do we do these things to ourselves? No real life stuff. Anna's back to school today after a week off. Wasn't too bad. I'll wish Ramadan Mubarak to one of her friends and her family that we see in the playground. So if you celebrate Ramadan, I hope you have a great month. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hit subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'm not very good with these kind of things. And if you've got any questions, let me know. And I'll just see you next time. Be kind, okay? I love you. Bye.